Look at this photograph. Brooklyn, New York, April 10th, 1996, 7:47 p.m. A man sits on a wooden stool under soft stage lights. He wears dark sunglasses that hide his eyes. Black gloves cover his hands. A flannel shirt hangs loose on a frame that used to fill it completely. He looks like a ghost, wearing the clothes of someone who used to be alive. That man is Layne Staley. In 13 minutes, he will deliver the most haunting vocal performance in rock history. But right now, in this moment, 3 MTV executives are standing in the wings of the Brooklyn Academy of Music, having an argument that will determine whether this performance happens at all. One of them is holding a phone. The other 2 are shaking their heads, and the words coming out of their mouths are simple and devastating. We need to cancel the show. 6 weeks earlier, Los Angeles, February 1996. Jerry Cantrell sits in his apartment on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. Empty beer bottles line the coffee table. Guitar cases lean against every wall. The television plays something he's not watching. Outside, February rain streaks down the windows like the city is crying. His phone rings. He almost doesn't answer. Jerry's been avoiding calls lately, avoiding everyone. Alice in Chains hasn't performed live in over a year. The band exists in name only, scattered across different cities, different lives, different stages of falling apart. He picks up anyway. Jerry, it's MTV. The voice belongs to Alex Coletti, producer of MTV Unplugged. The same guy who produced Nirvana's legendary acoustic session 2 years ago. The same guy who turned a simple concert into the defining document of a generation's pain. We want Alice in Chains for Unplugged. Jerry's quiet for a long moment. You know that's not possible. Why not? Because Layne can't do it. Silence on the other end. Jerry continues. He's not in to perform. None of us have seen him in months. He barely leaves his apartment. He's sick, Alex. Really sick. More silence. Then Coletti says something that changes everything. That's exactly why we want him. Jerry doesn't understand. Coletti explains. Nirvana Unplugged worked because Kurt was raw, vulnerable. You could see the pain in every frame. People connected to that. They connected to the truth of it. Kurt's dead. I know. You want to put Layne on stage, looking like he's about to die. I want to give him a chance to show people who he really is. Not the rock star, not the addict, the artist, the voice. Before it's too late. Jerry hangs up without answering, but he doesn't stop thinking about it. Seattle. Late February 1996. University District. A brick building on the corner of 45th and Brooklyn. 3rd floor, apartment 304. This is where Layne Staley lives. Lives might be too strong a word. This is where Layne Staley exists. Where he waits, where he watches television with the sound off and lets days bleed into nights without noticing the difference. The apartment hasn't been cleaned in months. Takeout containers stack in the kitchen. The blinds stay drawn. The phone stays unplugged most days because the ringing hurts his head and nobody who calls has anything he wants to hear. Layne is 30 years old. He looks 50. The heroin has hollowed him out. His cheekbones jut sharply against skin that's gone grey. His arms are tracked with scars. His teeth are starting to fail. He weighs maybe 140 pounds now, down from 185 in his prime. But his eyes are the worst part. His eyes used to burn with something. Intensity, anger, hunger. The thing that made you watch him, even when he wasn't singing. The magnetic pull of a man who had something to say and was going to make you listen. Now his eyes are flat, distant, like he's watching his own life through a window and can't remember how to open it. There's a knock at the door. Layne doesn't move. Another knock, louder. Layne, it's Jerry. Still nothing. I know you're in there, man. I can hear the TV. Long pause. Then, go away. I can't do that. Why not? Because MTV wants us to do Unplugged, and I need to talk to you about it. Silence. Then the sound of locks being undone. 1, 2, 3, 4 locks on a single door. The door opens 6 inches, chains still attached. Half of Layne's face appears in the gap. Jerry tries not to react, tries not to let his face show what he's feeling. But he can't help it. His best friend looks like a corpse that forgot to stop breathing. Jesus, Layne. Don't. I'm not. You came here to tell me how bad I look. Everyone does. Then they leave. If that's all you want, Save us both the time. That's not why I'm here. Layne stares at him, reading him, looking for the lie. Then why? Jerry takes a breath. I'm here because I need you. The band needs you. And maybe you need this too. Chain stays on the door. But Layne doesn't close it. Jerry talks for 45 minutes. He talks through the gap in the door. Layne won't let him inside, won't undo the chain. Just stands there in the shadows, listening, occasionally nodding, mostly silent. Jerry explains everything. The MTV offer, the format, the acoustic setup, the chance to strip away all the noise and distortion and show people something real. It's not like a regular concert, Jerry says. No running around stage, no headbanging, you just sit there and sing. That's not it. What do you mean? They want the freak show, that's what this is. Put the dying junkie on camera so everyone can watch him fall apart. Jerry shakes his head. That's not what this is. Isn't it? No. This is a chance, maybe the last chance, to show people that you're still in there, that the voice is still there, that Alice in Chains is still something that matters. Layne's eye, the one Jerry can see any through the gap, closes for a long moment. I can't, Jerry. Why not? Because I don't know if I can still sing. The words hang in the air. Jerry's heart breaks a little more. There's only one way to find out. 3 weeks pass. Negotiations continue. MTV agrees to every condition Jerry proposes. No close-up shots if Layne requests them. Sunglasses allowed. Gloves allowed. No questions about his health. No interviews before or after. Just the music. The band reassembles for the first time in 18 months. Jerry Cantrell, Mike Inez, Sean Kinney, and Layne. They meet at a rehearsal studio in Seattle, neutral ground, somewhere that doesn't remind anyone of the old days, the better days, the days when they were conquering the world instead of just trying to survive it. Layne arrives last. He's wearing dark sunglasses, even though the studio has no windows. Long sleeves despite the warmth. He moves carefully, like every step requires concentration. The other guys try to act normal, try to pretend this is just another rehearsal. But the silence is thick with everything they're not saying. Sean sits behind his drums. Mike plugs in his bass. Jerry straps on his acoustic guitar. Layne stands in front of the microphone. Nobody breathes. Jerry starts playing the opening chords of Nutshell. The song fills the room. Soft, gentle, heartbreaking, even before the vocals come in. A song about dying. A song about watching yourself disappear. A song that Layne wrote when he could still see the future clearly enough to fear it. Now, the future is here. And Layne opens his mouth to sing. The first note is weak, thin, strained. The voice of someone who hasn't used his instrument in months, maybe years. The voice of someone who's not sure the instrument still works. Jerry keeps playing. Layne keeps trying. The second line is better. The third line is almost there. And then, somewhere around the fourth line, something happens. Something clicks. The voice finds itself. Not the powerful, commanding voice of 1990. The voice that recorded Man in the Box and made the world listen. This is something different. Something older. Something wounded. But something real. Layne sings about the sun and how it's been so long since he's seen it shine. His voice cracks on the word shine. But the crack isn't weakness. The crack is truth. The crack is the sound of a man who is telling you exactly what it feels like to be dying and still be alive. By the end of the song, Jerry is crying. He doesn't stop playing, doesn't wipe his eyes, just lets the tears fall while his fingers move across the strings. When the last note fades, the room is silent. Sean speaks first. "Holy shit, Layne!" Layne says nothing, just stands there, breathing hard. Singing one song took everything he had, then, quietly, "Was that okay?" Jerry wipes his face, laughs a little, the kind of laugh that's really crying, wearing a different mask. "Man, that was okay." April 9th, 1996. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, Gate B14. The band waits for their flight to New York. First-class tickets, courtesy of MTV. The label wanted them to fly private, but Layne refused. Too much attention, too many eyes. Better to sit in first class with a hat pulled low and hope nobody notices. Layne sits by the window, forehead pressed against the glass, watching planes take off and land. He's wearing the sunglasses, even inside. The gloves, too. He hasn't taken them off since he put them on 3 days ago. Jerry sits next to him. "You nervous?" Layne doesn't turn from the window. "I'm always nervous." "That's not what I asked." Long pause. Then, "I keep thinking about Kurt." Jerry doesn't say anything. Just waits. He did this, right? Unplugged, 2 years ago. Yeah. And then he died. Jerry's jaw tightens. That's not gonna happen to you. Layne finally turns from the window. Behind the dark lenses, Jerry can't see his eyes. Can't read what he's thinking. Can't tell if he believes anything Jerry's saying. You don't know that. I know I'm not going to let it happen. Layne almost smiles. Almost. You can't save me, Jerry. Maybe not. But I can stand next to you while you save yourself. The boarding announcement crackles over the speakers. Layne stands slowly, picks up his bag, starts walking toward the gate, then stops. Turns back. Jerry! Thanks for not giving up on me. Before Jerry can respond, Layne's already walking through the gate. April 10th, 1996. Brooklyn, New York. Lafayette Avenue. The Brooklyn Academy of Music rises from the street like a cathedral. Red brick, tall windows, the kind of building that looks like important things have happened inside it, because they have. The band arrives at 2 p.m. for sound check. The stage is already set, candles everywhere, flowers, a Persian rug under the microphone stands, the kind of intimate staging that MTV Unplugged is famous for, making rock stars look like they're playing in someone's living room. Except today the stage looks more like a funeral parlor. Nobody says that out loud, but everyone is thinking it. Layne stands at center stage looking out at the empty seats. 500 of them. All of them will be filled in 5 hours with people who paid to see this. People who might be seeing Alice in Chains live for the last time. He walks to his stool. Sits down. Let's run something. Jerry starts the opening chords of Brother. Layne's voice fills the empty theater. The production crew stops what they're doing. Cameramen freeze with cables in their hands. Lighting technicians look up from their boards. Everyone just listens, even weak, even strained, even filtered through years of damage. That voice is still something else, something that reaches inside you and grabs hold of things you didn't know were there. But here's the thing. Nobody wants to talk about. Layne can't stand for more than 10 minutes at a time. His legs give out, not dramatically, not with a fall, just a slow buckle, a quiet surrender, a need to sit down before his body makes the decision for him. The production manager sees this, takes notes, makes a phone call. 20 minutes later, Alex Coletti is on the phone with MTV executives in New York City. We might have a problem. 6:30 p.m. The audience has started arriving. They file into the theater in their flannels and their torn jeans, their band t-shirts and their combat boots. The generation that grew up on grunge, that found themselves in these songs, that used this music as a lifeline during the darkest years of their youth, they have no idea what's happening backstage. 3 MTV executives stand in the wings. Alex Coletti, a network lawyer, a senior vice president whose name nobody on the crew knows. They're arguing in urgent whispers. He can barely stand. We've got liability concerns. What if he collapses on live television? It's not live. We can edit. Coletti holds up his hands. He's not going to die on stage. You don't know that. I know that Jerry Cantrell has been with him all day. I know that he's seen him perform in rehearsals. I know that every single person on this crew believes this is worth doing. It's not about what they believe, it's about what the network can defend if something goes wrong. Silence. The lawyer speaks. Look, the safest thing to do is call it off. Tell the audience there's a technical problem. Refund the tickets. Do this another time when he's in better shape. There isn't going to be another time. Everyone turns. Jerry Cantrell is standing at the edge of the group. Nobody noticed him approach. What did you say? The VP asks. I said there isn't going to be another time. This is it. Tonight is it. If you cancel this show, you're not postponing anything. You're ending it. He'll never get back on a stage again. You don't know that? I've known him for 10 years. I know exactly that. Jerry steps closer. His voice is low, controlled, but there's something underneath it. Something that makes the executives take a half step back. Let me tell you something about Layne Staley. That man has been fighting a war inside his own body for 5 years. Every day he wakes up is a day he chose to keep fighting. Every time he walks on stage is a choice to give something to people instead of just taking from himself. He points toward the stage. There are 500 people in those seats who grew up on his voice, who got through high school because of his songs, who stayed alive because his music made them feel less alone. They're not here to watch a freak show. They're here to say goodbye. And he's here to let them. The VP opens his mouth. Jerry cuts him off. You can cancel the show. That's your right. But you'll have to go out there and tell those people yourself, and then you'll have to go back there and tell Layne, and then you'll have to live with what you've done for the rest of your life. Silence. The three executives look at each other. The lawyer sighs, puts away his phone. If anything happens, it won't. If anything happens, this conversation never took place. Jerry nods, turns, walks back toward the dressing room. The show will go on. The lawyer sighs, puts away his phone. If anything happens, it won't. If anything happens, this conversation never took place. Jerry nods, turns, walks back toward the dressing room. The show will go on. But here's what nobody in that room knew. Not the executives, not the lawyers, not even Jerry Cantrell himself. What was about to happen on that stage would change music history forever. In 15 minutes, Layne Staley will walk out under those lights. 500 people will hold their breath. 8 million more will eventually watch what happens next. And every single one of them will witness something they'll never forget. A dying man choosing to live. For one more hour, a voice everyone thought was gone, rising from the ashes. A performance so raw, so real, so devastatingly beautiful that grown men will weep in their seats. But first, Layne has to find the courage to stand up. He has to walk through that door. He has to face the audience that came to say goodbye, and he has to open his mouth and discover whether the voice is still there. Will he make it through the first song? Will his legs hold him up? Will the world finally see what courage really looks like? The answers are coming. In part 2, stay tuned, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because what happens next is the most powerful moment in rock history, and you don't want to miss a single second.